11. Oh, it's a new week, isn't it? Hello, welcome back to the channel. New week. I've been away, so I was away last week for a day, and came back yesterday, Monday. So short week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've got a 211 E-Class in for the famous oil cooler seals that John's doing. He's got it all stripped down, all clean, new cooler in place. We've actually done a video on this before in a lot more in depth. I'll leave the link for that in the description. It's a really common job, so we'll catch up with John when it's built back up. So far so good. We've got a CLS 350 V6 diesel shooting brake for the shooting brake fans. Everyone that seems to own one of these, when they book in, they always say, I've got a CLS shooting brake, like it's a different price or something. CLS shooting brake. Nathan's done a B service on this, really good customer of ours. It's a new car to him, so he wants us to give it the full once over to make sure it's good. To be fair, he usually buys really good cars. He really takes his time buying, but I think that's a really nice colour actually. We've advised a 9-speed gearbox service, which Nathan's doing. He's holding the camera.
Turn it around.
You don't want to turn it around. Which customers agreed to. It's a really low mileage car, but because of the age, he's gone for it. So that's always good news. Shall I do the bleed now while we're on? So when you do a gearbox service on these 9 speeds, which we have demonstrated in another video, there's a bleed procedure, and it bleeds all the valves in the gearbox, which is really important to do. So we'll record doing this. You'll probably be able to hear it as well. So as you can see, you kind of get the idea of that. It does 5 bleeds with the car not running and 5 bleeds with the car running. So that's that. It's a bit of a quiet. I like to keep it fairly quiet when I come back in, because it takes me a day to catch up with what's gone on in the couple of days I've been off. Right, a new day. John's put back together the oil cooler job. This is its first start up, so hopefully it starts. So that will now get loads of testing, loads of road tests, and then we can get it back to the customer. First service on the ramp today. It's quite a nice 204 C-Class. It's 720 days overdue an A service, and the service history, it's had 2 A services on the bounce. So really it's well overdue a B service. We've just done a health check on it. Got to do the ramp, I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody's put brand new pads in it. Don't know if you can see that, but anyway, it's got brand new pads on it, and the discs are absolutely knackered. The lip on the disc is so bad. They are beyond the minimum thickness. Why they put pads in it and not discs, I don't know. Rear pads are low. They need replacing. Really low. There's no warning wire on the back of these, so it needs rear pads. The front suspension arm, the boot has completely split, so the ball joint's lost all its grease. Look at the state of them discs, man. They are so bad. You probably can't see on camera, but those discs are so bad. I can't believe somebody's put a set of pads in it. Same on both sides. It's not the end of the world what we've found on this car, but it's quite frustrating that this car goes somewhere else for some of the work and then comes to us for like the service. So it's getting half good treatment, half not good treatment. It's quite frustrating. There's no way I'd have put pads on that. No way. They are so bad. So we'll speak to the customer, see what he wants to do about it. So front brakes, rear pads, suspension arms. The front wheel bearings need adjusting a bit, but we do that as part of the service, so that's included. That's it. Next up, we've got a 221 S-Class. Again, this car goes somewhere else for all the good work. Someone else is getting all the servicing, and we're getting the rubbish work of fixing their mess. So this has had a service somewhere else. He's now come here because they've just not done a good job, basically. Even though he is a customer of mine, quite frustrating. Basically, the screw snapped for the airbox, being held on by a zip tie. They've stripped the bolt that goes in here. There's no thread in there at all. So I'm going to have to put a helicoil in that and fix that. There is a bolt missing that bolts to the turbo down here. So somebody's obviously done some repairs somewhere. I don't know if you can see, but somebody's fitted the wrong fan belt. It's got the wrong size fan belt on it. These 642s, depending on what engine year, have a wider and a thinner belt. Somebody's put the complete wrong belt on that, so it needs a belt. Throw away that new one. When they've fitted the belt, that bolt's loose. That's not even holding that clamp on. There's another bolt down there. I can undo that with my fingers. That's not tight either. So this piece, you can see there, it's just held in loose. That's annoying. That is so annoying. That is so annoying. So I don't know if you can see, but there should be a bolt in there, and there isn't. And there's not one on the other side either. So looking at it, looks like the turbo's been repaired or refurbished or something, and they've just bonded that back together instead of putting a bolt in it. Probably because the bolt snapped or something like that. Bit of a frustrating day, really. We're just going around fixing other people's mess. We'll see what he wants to do about this. You know, really it needs a new airbox, but it's not a realistic repair, so we're going to have to see if we can do something about it. Helicoil there, missing bolt there, new belt. We'll have to take that off, tighten everything back up properly. It's frustrating. We see these cars regular and they only come in for the rubbish work. They don't let us service them. If you let us service them, this won't happen in the first place. Right, we've got the front wheels off to do the front wheel bearings on the C-Class. So we thought we'd have a measure of the front discs. Minimum thickness is 26. We're down to about 20, just under 24, 23.7. So those discs are just way gone. Anyway, they've been declined. Rear discs are within minimum thickness, so we're happy to put pads on the rear. Declined. Obviously front discs, you should replace pads again because they'll just squeak or not bedded properly. Anyway, declined. Suspension arms, declined. But he's upgraded to a B service. We've got a SL 350. It's got some nice 55 AMG wheels on. New customer to us. He's asked for a health check. We've done a health check for him. We've advised the gearbox service, 2 front lower ball joints and a brake fluid change. It's got the SBC system on it. He's approved everything. So you can see gearbox fluid is actually in good condition, so it's definitely been done before, so that's good. 2 front ball joints which have been fitted. We've done a video on those before. I'll leave a link in the description for how we do those. We have come across a slight issue which is annoying. We've recommended brake fluid because the rear brake hoses are slightly cracked. So we've removed the front wheels to do the ball joints, and the bleed screw is previously been snapped. So we're going to have to abandon the brake fluid change for now. Really, that caliper needs removing and sending off for bleed screw extraction and a new nipple putting in. They can be difficult to do them, so I don't really like doing them myself. I'd rather leave it to the pros, and then when the caliper place has got it, should they not be able to do it, at least they can supply us a new caliper. But overall it's not too bad, this, but just to show you, you know, that these SLs are getting old. See where the rust is coming through now. Come across these things on the older ones, like the nipples being snapped and stuff like that. Sometimes even we snap them. We usually pre-warn customers that that can happen on these type of calipers, especially AMG stuff. They're terrible. Making sure no one's watching. Right, so we've got first generation CLK, W208 CLK. I've looked after this car probably about 15 years. It's had a B service, fuel filter. We've gone to change the fuel filter and all the fuel hoses were all deteriorated, so we've changed all them. Actually done them free of charge for the customer. We wasn't expecting them to fall to bits when we did the job, but they did. But he's been a customer for so long. It's having spark plugs. Believe it or not, even on this old thing, genuine plug, still a platinum plug, £14 each. So even a spark plug change is quite a cost. Very simple to do, but there you go. But yeah, there's not many of these left on the road now, so it's still nice to do a couple. 230 compressor. I think this is the last one I've got on my books actually. That's a regular anyway. Sweet. So that's the CLK done. Just turn the wiper off. Actually brings back a few memories. This a 208 CLK was the first Mercedes I ever owned. I had a silver one. I think I've got a picture of it. If I have, I'll cut to the picture. Yeah, so it's quite nice to still get to work on some of these older ones. There's not many of these left. Hopefully, as you can see in the week-to-week stuff, the variety of the cars we get in. So hopefully it's keeping everyone entertained. So yeah, I'm going to take this on a road test and a little trip down memory lane, I suppose. Right, first job of the new day for me. I've got an SLK, we've got ABS light on, ESP light on, handbrake light on, engine management light on. A lot of lights going on. I'm hoping they're all to do with one fault for the customer. Really good customer that's been coming for many, many years. Car has done 27,000 miles, so it's a low mileage car. So we'll get it plugged in and see what's going on. We'll wind the window up so it's quieter. Just had a quick diagnosis of the car. We've got a fault with both front ABS sensors. We have tested them, they are both receiving a signal, but the left front sensor, when the car was stationary, was flickering up and down as though the car was moving, and it's not. I tried to get it on camera, and typically as soon as I got the camera out, it stopped doing it. In a lot of cases on Mercedes of this generation especially, Mercedes recommend to change the pair. Well, in fact, it's a must. They must have modified the sensor or changed the resistance in the sensors or something like that. So this one's two front ABS sensors, and that's going to cure all the lights on the dash, including the engine management light, which is good news. We used to just got the sensor out. That's the old one. Plugs in there, gets routed round, goes through and down the back. You've got to take the arch liners out, so we get all that back together and take it on a road test. Here we've got a 205 C-Class, just done a service on it. It's pretty good, nothing much to report, needs a couple of back tyres. But what we check and I've noticed on service is there's oil pooling up in the top of the engine where the injectors go in, and that is a rocker cover gasket failure. We like to change the rocker cover as well, just in case it's warped. Save doing the job twice should it be warped, and it's a bit of a while you're in there job. See if I can show you on the camera. So we'll get that priced up, see what the customer wants to do about that. We see this quite often, we do these quite a lot. Right, so we fitted the two front ABS sensors to the SLK. 2 genuine sensors. We only fit genuine ABS sensors. What I like to do is, an ABS system kicks in when the vehicle goes above, I think it's 10-15 mile an hour. I like to leave all the lights on the dash, and then when you go over, let's say 15 mile an hour, once it's picked up all 4 speed signals, it should knock the lights off itself. I like to do that and then take it back to the garage and then clear the codes. It's just a little bit of an extra confirmation that everything's good to go. It was actually 10 mile an hour. I've just gone over 10 mile an hour and all the lights have gone off themselves. We've got no message on the dash now. Engine management light left, which will need clearing. So it's just a nice little confirmation that. So we get these codes cleared and then this one is done. I've just nipped into the office and the CLK we did has brought us a box of chocolates. So that's nice. Really cheers us up, stuff like that. Makes us know our work's appreciated. So I've got to go around now and let the staff dig into these. Right, that's the C-Class done for the service and the oil leak. So rocker cover replaced, injector bolts, injector washers and injector clamps. We always replace all the bits with it. The bolts, injector bolts are stretch bolts, so they're one-time use only. Same with the copper washers. Once they've been crushed, that's it. And we change the clamps because why not? So while you're in their job. So that's another one done. We've got a 204 C-Class having service and gearbox service. We've just opened the boot and the boot's tried to kill us. So he's not booked in for this, but obviously the boot struts have failed. They're not holding themselves up. So anyway, in the boot is actually 2 boot struts that the customer must have bought. So we've just given him a quick ring to say, do you want us to fit them as a little freebie whilst we're servicing the car? Anyway, it's not a big job, it's quite straightforward. So he said, yeah, thank you very much. So a little freebie for the customer. He was going to do it himself, so we'll get that sorted for him. Pull that off. If you do one at a time, so hold ones off. Should go up a lot faster now as well. Lovely little job done. We just thought we'd show you this. We've got a 212 estate in that's coming for a service. We always check the rear subframes on them. The reason being they're known for rotting, and currently Mercedes are replacing them free of charge should they need one. No, they're not replacing them willy-nilly, but if you need one, they will do it for free. It's about roughly a £2,000 job, so we're making sure our customers take advantage of it. So I'll just show you what we found on this. I don't know if you can see up there, there's a small hole there, and that is the same on both sides. So basically this car needs a subframe, so we're going to tell him to go to Mercedes. You've got to book in for a health check, Once they find that, they'll replace it free of charge. So that's a really good saving for the customer. It actually needs rear brake pipes as well, and we've got a rear suspension fault. The suspension is dropping right down, so it needs suspension airbags. I'm going to recommend the customer to get everything done at Mercedes because they've got to take the majority of that off to do this job. And once the subframe's off, the brake pipes will be so much easier to do. So there will be some kind of cost involved for him to do that, but he's getting a free subframe. If he doesn't, then obviously the car will come back to us for that work, but hopefully he gets it all done at once. It'll make it a lot easier. You should really get cheaper labour because you're well in there, you're well in the area of where you need to be. So yeah, good tip for everyone. That's SLK 171s, 204 C classes, 212 E classes. If anybody knows more about it, leave a comment, and I'm sure it'll help other people out. That's another aim that we're doing with this channel is, you know, like a bit of a little community. We can all help each other out. Right, we've got a GLC in. Brake warning, visit workshop is on the dash. Can't really see, but we need rear discs and pads. Providing we've got approval on it, we'll get the wheels off and I'll show you a better demonstration. But for now, we're got to close for dinner actually. It's dinner time. A lot of people think we don't stop for dinner, which is strange. Seeing as though it's dinner time and I've got the camera in my hand, thought I would show you our staff room. Got a pool table, snap-on sign, a few bits hung up on the walls and stuff. A customer gave me that sign. In fact, not even a customer, somebody I just gave advice to online. How nice is that? Some magazines I've been in over the years. It's quite old actually. More magazines. More magazines. Just some stuff. That was one of the first signs that was ever made for the garage. PlayStation. We buy everybody dinner on a Friday. I say we, I do. Just as a thanks for the week. And a bit of fun on dinner time. And then finish the afternoon's work. Then we go home. So the GLC for the rear discs and pads. Outside pad is amber. 5mm left, so you think that they'd be good, but the inside pad has worn right down and has gone through the wire. Generally your inside pads always wear a bit more than your outside ones because that's the side the piston's pushing. We're putting discs on it as well because they've not worn very smooth. We'll show you that pad once we get it out. Because it's got an electronic handbrake, we have to supply power to the car at all times. So we have the battery support unit on it, which keeps the car at a constant 13 volts. Because last thing we want to do is run out of power and that electronic handbrake comes on when we've got no brakes on it, because then we're in big trouble. Right, we've got a 215 CL. The customer has complained the dash instrument cluster, speedo, whatever you want to call it, has gone off and it's flickering now and again, which it is. No fault codes in instrument cluster. This used to be a common fault back in the day. It used to happen a lot when people jump started the car, especially if they'd had the key in. I have got under voltage faults stored in the diagnostics, which would indicate that that's potentially what's happened. Also on the passenger seat of the car there is a car jump starter kit. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling this car's been jump started with the ignition on and potentially damaged the instrument cluster. So two options with it: brand new one if they still do them, or send it away for refurbishment. We'll have a look at some options. We're probably going to go for the refurbishment option, get it sorted. Just a rodeo test, isn't it? Forgot to mention, customers also complained of an ABC light on the dash. Not that we can see it because the dash is off. So we're just running a rodeo test to put the car under some strain, and then we can do some tests on the struts. Quite clever that, isn't it, for an old car. It had an error for front of the car. Critical error too low, so it's been low at some point. I have a feeling this car's been stud, as I explained, with the low voltage, suspensions drops and stuff like that. So we're just going to run this rodeo test. I think it's just a case of clearing the faults for that. I think it's just dropped down. Right, so CL finished testing. We're going to have to send them clocks away. GLC that we did the rear discs and pads on, I said I'd show you the pad. So you can see there where it's worn through the sensor, but the opposing side's got a little bit of meat left on it. So that's that. That's the end of the week for us. So like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.